I spoke with Attorney General Abbott about 30 minutes ago. He assures me that this lawsuit is necessary to protect the welfare of the citizens of Texas. He and 13 other attorney generals are filing in Florida in federal district court. As Dr. Burgess has just pointed out, the primary focus of the lawsuit is the constitutional guarantee that all those powers not directly enumerated to the Congress and the federal government are reserved to the states and the individuals. And there is a real constitutional question whether you can force an individual to take a service and a product that they of their own volition would not wish to take. It would have been as if in World War II, when we were trying to save not only the United States but the entire free world, the federal government had told every American citizen, not only you have to buy war bonds, but you have to buy this kind of a war bond, this denomination of a war bond. The lawsuit should be heard at the district court within the next 3 to 4 months. Then there would be an appellate, and then hopefully it will be before the Supreme Court within the year. This is the first of many lawsuits and efforts to repeal parts of this law. One thing that's in the law that I don't think too many people understand is that beginning in 2014, if you're Medicaid eligible, in other words, if you are below 133% of the federal poverty limit, whether you want to be or not, whether you have insurance or not, you're going to be covered by Medicaid, period. Something else that's in the law, that's not a part of the lawsuit, but I think is interesting, is the people that actually drafted the bill. That is the staff members of the leadership and committee staffs are exempt from the bill, exempt from the law. I just found that out this morning, and I think that's an interesting factoid. So I'm totally supportive of Attorney General Abbott's filing of this lawsuit. It's going to cost the state of Texas, just in Medicaid eligibility funding alone, $24 billion over the next 10 years. That's over $2 billion a year. That's money that the state of Texas is going to have to raise through increased taxes or by cutting other programs. And I believe that what Texas and other states may do is decide to opt out of the Medicaid program in its entirety, and then you're going to have an even heavier burden on the federal taxpayer for this ill-founded, ill-conceived law that's now the law of the land.
I'm wondering, there's been a lot of talk, it's going to go to the Supreme Court. I don't know how long it's going to take. Obviously, it'll take a while. Are you all prepared to abide by a ruling not in your favor from the Supreme Court? If I understand that you're all confident the Supreme Court would rule in your favor, but if they don't, what then?
Well, we believe in the rule of law, and as far as I know, every member of the Texas Republican delegation supports the judicial system. We've got several former judges, and Congressman McCall was a federal prosecutor. So, we'll abide by whatever the Supreme Court says. I might also point out that Congress has the right to change this law, and Congress also has the right to interpret the Constitution. It's a misnomer to say that the only arbiter of the Constitution is the Supreme Court. The Congress has just as much right to interpret the Constitution as the Supreme Court does. But in this circumstance, it's a federal lawsuit being filed that would go to the Supreme Court, sure. I want to make one other comment on what's actually in the bill. The thing that my friends that voted for it are most proud of is that people with pre-existing conditions can immediately get insurance. That's not quite true. It's kind of half true and half not true. There's a fund of $5 billion for the first 4 years that goes to each state to set up a high-risk insurance pool in each state. You can apply within 90 days if you have a pre-existing condition to get insurance through this high-risk pool. And some American citizens will get it. But because it would cost a lot more than $1.25 billion a year to cover all the people in the country with a pre-existing condition who today do not have insurance, you're going to create a waiting list in each state. And yes, some people who have not gotten insurance will get it, but there are going to be lots of people, in spite of what my friends on the other side say, they're going to be put on a waiting list. Because $1.25 billion is not enough money to provide for insurance for the 8 to 10 million Americans who today don't have health insurance because of a pre-existing condition.
Can you talk a little bit about, because Congressman Barton mentioned the Medicaid thing, a little bit more about the state opting out of Medicaid? Where sort of did that come from with Texas specifically?
Well, one state, the state of Arizona, has already decided to opt out of the SCHIP program, which is a low-income program for children. They're just above the lowest eligibility level for Medicaid. As states see what this is going to cost their budgets, it is not a requirement that every state participate in every federal program. The states have the right to, if they take the money, they have to apply by the rules of that particular program. But if they choose not to take the money, they don't have to. And this Medicaid expansion in most states is going to double the Medicaid population. It won't happen in every state, but in most states. And for the first 4 years, the federal government, because of the Nebraska, the Cornhusker kickback, the federal government is going to assume 100% of that cost. That started out to be just for Nebraska. And then because of the uproar over that, the solution was not to drop it for Nebraska. The solution was to give it to every state. So for the first 4 years, every state gets 100% reimbursement for their Medicaid expansion. But after that, it stops. So the states are going to double their Medicaid population, have all these huge increases in cost, and then they're going to have to absorb all those costs when the federal government reduces the FMAP. And I think it's a fair question that a lot of states are going to say, they're going to look at this bill and see all these mandates in it, and they're going to say, okay, we'll drop Medicaid, maybe come up with an additional program that's state funded for our children, and let the federal government take over the program. And that's a real possibility.